Hello and welcome back to Mary Makes Studio. Today I am showing you a journal that was custom made for McKenna, and her grandmother ordered it for her. And she had given me some information about McKenna, that she liked vintage things. Her favorite flowers are hydrangeas. She loves the color purple, and some other little bits of information that you'll see throughout this journal. The closure for this journal is just a simple ribbon. It is not attached to the journal, so it can be completely removed if she wants to. This tassel is really fun. I have got some beads that are huge. I've got pearls, all kinds of different materials, some really funky beads like this one, a little plastic orb that has a flower and some glitter in it. Let's see, I had it. There's a little flower charm. And then there's one more bead, a nice big one, and it has a purple butterfly with it. So this fabric did not come with hydrangeas on it, but I knew that McKenna loves hydrangeas, so I found a stamp in my stash, a rubber stamp, of a hydrangea. So I just stamped all over the journal cover, and I made you a custom fabric. The tassel does flip out, and so that way you can lay it flat for writing in it if you would like to. We open it up and we start with a beautiful printable page. This is a remnant of wallpaper, and I have sewn all around it. I attached a vintage pom-pom trim. And in the first page, you will find a pocket. Well, second page, technically. This is a journaling card. And a journaling card is where you have a piece of paper that's decorative on one side. The other side is blank or mostly blank. And it's filled with space. No, it is not filled with space. It is blank so that you have space to journal your thoughts. You can put a picture on here, you could draw, you could paint, you could do anything you want to with this. You can keep it in your journal, you can give it away, whatever you want to do. This is a tag that I made with printables. This is a vintage recipe card, and you can still see the recipe underneath it and on the back side. I'm thinking that it was from the 80s. The discoloration is completely natural. I did not do anything to enhance that. All I did was cut out a hydrangea image from a paper collection and glued it on there. There are hydrangeas throughout this album. And I went with a mostly purple color scheme, but I did add some other colors in there so it doesn't become monochromatic. This is a greeting card from a series that I absolutely love because they're beautiful on the outside and the inside. McKenna's favorite verse is, "I can do all things through him who strengthens me," Philippians 4:13. Excuse me, my allergies are really acting up today. This is new copy paper, but I coffee dyed it. And I used a table runner on some of the pages, others I use stencils and things, but you can actually see a pattern from where I put those down and then put the coffee dye on top of it. This is a poem that I got from an antique book. No, I'm sorry, it is not an antique book. This was a vintage book. And this was an envelope, and it's got a card that I've attached to the top. It will not come off. It is glued down firmly. And you pull this out, and here's some more of the fun things that her grandmother found out about her and told me. One of the people that she looks up to not one of, but several of the people that she really looks up to are the women that were talked about in this book, the women with silver wings. So I grabbed a screenshot of the book cover, and I just printed it out onto some heavy cardstock so that she can journal on the back about anything that she wants to. I was thinking it would be great for her to journal about what this book made her think, how it made her feel. Then we have a vintage real postcard from the 70s, at least. It might have been from the 60s, but I'm pretty sure it's the 70s. And it's of the Kennedys, President Kennedy and Mrs. Kennedy's summer home on Cape Cod. And you can see the discoloration is real. You cannot duplicate that. So I thought those were some fun vintage things for her. These are not vintage items, these next two. This is made to look like it's vintage, but it's not. This is brand new. Lots of room to write on. I like to include things like that. And this one is a coloring postcard. So she can color it and mail it to somebody. She can keep it. She can send it to someone and have them color it. Whatever. The options are completely open. And then I held them all together with this teeny tiny little paper clip. And now I can't get it to work. My fingers don't want to work. There we go. And then we just slide that right back in. The next page is from a magazine that I love to get. It's got very high quality artist images and things in it. But it's also about art as just a form of relaxation, creativity. These are art prompt pages or art journaling pages. And it gives you some direction and then gives you space to do that. Now this is obviously a page folded in half. So the other half of that page is going to be way back here. Let me see if I can find it. No, I've completely lost it now. Anyway, it's in here somewhere. Let me see. That's the back. There's the other half. Okay, I knew it was in here somewhere. Sorry. So you've got your prompt here, and then where you would more space to do it here. And then you open it up and there's more prompts. This is a napkin that I decoupaged onto a sheet of ledger paper. The ledger paper is from 19-something. I don't know what year exactly, but it was definitely made to be used in the 1900s. That sounds so strange to say. This one is a photo mat that is removable. They are designed to show you, first of all, where you can put photos in your album, places that were designed to hold them. And it's also where you can actually glue a photo or paste a photo of your own onto this to give it the neat photo corner edge. You can flip it over and put another one on the back side, or you can write on the back side what your picture's about. Or you can just totally take this out, pretend it never existed, and put whatever you want to on this page. It's your choice. This page is actually packing paper that comes from like our Amazon packages. I reuse it in journals as pages, and I just flipped some paint on here to make it look interesting. This is a product called rice paper, which is a lot of fun to work with. And when you use it, it gets wet and you pull on it, it gives these beautiful wispy edges. But you probably don't care about that. You just want to know what your journal's about. So let's keep going. This is parchment paper, and I stamped a verse on here. This page I stenciled on, but you've still got, you can easily write over that. This is one of your pocket pages. I have a card or a tag that I created from Printables. This is an old envelope, and it sealed itself shut. But I didn't know if you had some idea that you could maybe use it. A lot of times, actually I did on this one, never mind. I just didn't put anything in it. I think this was supposed to go in it. Yeah, this was supposed to go in it. So I take, when you've got old envelopes that you can't use anymore because they've sealed themselves shut, cut off one end and use it as a pocket. And I just stuck that in there. This is a notepad that I made with more of that decoupage napkin. These are actually little brads. And I just took a whole bunch of papers and I stuck them together using this ribbon or twine. And I just made you a little notepad. And you can do whatever you want to with it. But I thought it was a fun idea. And it's something you don't see every day. And here we have a tiny little stationery page. And I've been stumped for a long time on exactly how to use these, but it dawned on me I can just fold them in half and stamp something on them. The back side is blank so that you can write on it. The ink does bleed through a little bit, but if you write over that, I don't think it'll be a problem at all. This is actual stationery paper. This is another printable, and I have sewn lace to it. I also have a, what do we call this? Altered time card. That's what we call that. And I took some little decorative pieces, a sticker, some little trim, and sewed it all down. This is from a magazine. I believe it's the Saturday Evening Post. And it's a parting shot. This was in a 1961 edition of the magazine. This is a brand new magazine, well, within the last 10, 15 years. But it's looking back at older things, so from the 60s. And when you go to the opposite side of the signature, let's see if I can find this without too much trouble. Oh, it's the center spread. How about that? Okay, so if you go from here to flip to here, it talks about what that picture's about. Then on the opening, I love to include a Norman Rockwell picture in my journals because he's a North Carolina artist, and I really enjoy his work. I love the vintage feel that it brings to me of how things were when I was a kid. Well, most of his stuff is from before I was a kid, but it just makes me smile to watch, to look at, and to think about. So anyway, I thought that might be interesting to you. This is a removable paper clip right here. And the way that they are designed is that there's a paper clip sandwiched between pieces of paper so that it will not damage your page. If you've got a fragile page like this magazine page, you can slide this on and you don't have to worry about the metal of it ripping the pages because it's so delicate. So I took a North Carolina postcard. This is from probably the 70s or 80s. It shows our North Carolina state flower, which is the dogwood, and our state bird, which is the cardinal. And since your grandma lives here, I thought you might want to have one of those. Okay, I'm going to have to put that on in a little bit. It's being cranky. You'll see a little bit of sheen to this page, and that's where I just flicked some gold acrylic paint on it. And a cluster that I had made, and then another Bible verse. This is actual wrapping paper, which I think is a really fun thing to use. I have sewn around the edges of it, and then I stenciled on it. These are the lyrics to one of the songs that you said is your favorite. I pulled out a verse because I didn't have room for the whole thing. But I hope that it makes you smile when you think about it and when you see this page. These are rub-ons and what they call die cuts, which is just an image that is cut out from thicker cardstock. But I thought it made a really pretty composition with these two pages together. This one is another piece of rice paper. And this was one of your favorite quotes that you had written down for your grandmother. This is space for 2 3x4 photo mats. Now these I did glue to the page because I couldn't figure out a way to have them anchored to the page any other way. I didn't have little die cut images that I could tuck it into and that kind of thing. So I hope that you can print out some small photos that you like to remind you of happy times. You can write down the date or what the picture was about here. This is a vintage slide from my own collection. This was from the 70s. It's really clean because we didn't use them a lot. But what we would do is we had pictures, negatives of pictures that were in here, and you would put them in a projector and they would be magnified, and you could show them on a wall or on a movie projector screen, anything like that. So what I do is take out the negatives and I press flowers and put pressed flowers in there. So, and you can see it on both sides. Then we've got more of that 1900 ledger and lace that I've sewn to it. The other half of that art journaling prompt. This one is a lot of fun. It makes me smile. This is probably from the 1960s because it was a series of books about learning that they taught kids in school how to read with. but it predates the ones that I learned to read, which were Dick and Jane books. And I just thought these pages were so much fun. I put a full spread in here. They don't necessarily go together. These are from different stories in the book. Like this is the first page of this story, but then this one is a different story. But I just think they're fun to look at. More of the coffee dyed paper. And this is the back half of that card. They're just stunning cards. And I covered the back with a collage because I thought it looked fun. And uh-oh, that got bent. I'll have to replace that one. This one is a hand embossed tag, and it's been sewn with the machine. And then I put a die cut image on top of it. This one is a prayer card that you can put anywhere that you want to remember how much your grandmother Tina loves you and that she thought enough of you to have this album created just for you. And it's got a prayer on the back, verse. And I will put a clean copy of this in because this one got bent. This was painted by a King resident. Her name was Pensy Cardwell, and she painted so many beautiful things. And I was fortunate enough to get some of the copies of her paintings that they had made into different sizes. So I included one in your book so that you can remember your grandmother and that she lives in King also. And then there's the back half of that wallpaper. This one is another one of the photo pages, and it's got the 4x6 photo mat that you just slide in and out. And then you open it up. This is painted with a watercolor shimmer paint. This is from a lesson plan book from back, I would say at least the 90s, if not earlier. This one is made to look old, but it is a new paper. It is a printable from Etsy. And that's the other side of it. This is vintage lace. I don't know exactly how old, but I can guarantee you it is more than 20 years old. This one is a piece of that, oh goodness, what's it called? Stationery paper. And I found this book that has these little pages in it. It was called something kind of a maintenance record. And I realized that on the spine side, they had perforations so you could tear the pages out. And I thought, well, that would be a fun pocket. So I glued it together, and then I glued it to the stationery page, and I made you a pocket. And when you pull the things out, this is a vintage, if not antique, made to look like a calling card, but it's actually an advertisement piece. And you can see it was actually embossed on the card. And that discoloration is completely natural. I did not do that. But it's recommending a spool shop. Well, I guess that would be all kinds of needlework. Potter's Spool Silk. And you told your grandmother this was one of your favorite books. So I made you a copy of the cover. And back is blank for you to write about. This is an old Sunday school lesson handout that they used to give the kids. This one is from 1933. The patent is from 1915. And on the back it tells you the lesson. It gives you the actual date that it would have been given to the people and where they got it. And this was published for 12 cents a year, 3 cents a quarter. I mean, that was a long, long time ago. You can't get anything printed that cheaply these days. Another verse, and then I stenciled some things on that page. Here's a map page. And this was, the other half of the map tells you, or the page tells you, this is a map of the areas, oh shoot, I'm going to say it wrong, so I'm going to look for it real quick. And I'm going to read to you exactly what it is because I don't want to mess it up. It is the map of the United States showing acquisition of territory. So that's what these big sections are. I just thought it was a fun addition. This one is another page that I hand coffee dyed, and I've got patterns of lace in there. You can see it a lot better on this page. I don't know if it's showing up well in the camera. Another beautiful greeting card. I enjoy using these because they make perfect pages. I did some splatters with ink on here, and you can easily write on that. This is a poem that I thought was very interesting, and it spoke to me. I hope it speaks to you, McKenna. Surrounded by little bits of ephemera and pieces. This is part of that envelope page, and I just glued a piece of printable ledger to it. This is not new. This is not old. This is new. This is new. It's made to look old. This one is a fun dangle, and it's got a little charm on it. It's got a little card with print on the back, and then just some fun pieces of fabric. And there is no purpose for this other than to just look pretty. I sewed the lace on. This is vintage lace. It is not antique, but it is vintage, so it's at least 20 years old. Decoupage napkins with hydrangeas. This is another painting that Pensy Cardwell did, and I wanted to include this as well. More hydrangea napkins. Some fun floral ribbon trim that I found. I adore this page. It's a pocket, and when you pull the things out, you will find a vintage bingo card. This one does have a date on it. It's from 1987, and they were made out of cardboard. This is an actual check from 1908, and it gives you all the information. The check was for $68. And I think it's fun to include bits of history like that. This is a time card that was actually used, probably from the 80s or 90s. And I took some ribbon trim and just some butterflies and hydrangea and decorated it. The back is blank, so you can write on it if you would like to. I really need to hurry this up. I hope I'm not boring you. But I wanted to make sure that I explained to you different things that might not come intuitively if you're not familiar with junk journals. The back of this envelope was gorgeous, so I left it alone. Then we have the other half of that card, and on this side of the card, it was just had the maker stuff on the information on it. So I decoupaged a napkin and stuck a pocket on handmade tag. This is a journaling card, and I covered it with coffee dyed paper. And then this one is a fun tag from a printable collection that I have. And I did the back. It's got faint lines on it, so if you wanted to write on it, you can. And then we have that map. Love this verse. He is not here, for he is risen. As he said, come and see the place where he lay. This one's just a little cluster that I glued down. You can write around that. You can put pictures on these pages, anything you want to do with them. It's your book to do with as you choose. Let all that you do be done in love. And this is more of that sparkle watercolor paint. And then we have another photo page, and this one slips out like that. You can put pictures on both sides. Slip it back in, and then back in there. And it slides right into place. This one, there's your verse again. Children's writing paper like we used to learn to write on. And I stenciled on it. Another photo page with a 4x6. This one is called stencil butter, and it's that's what this raised material is that you can feel. I used a couple of colors and kind of blended them together to fill out that. I love the colors that it created as it mixed together. And then I had done some sprays on the back to make you a custom page. This is an altered playing card. It is an actual playing card under here. You can see the Jack of Spades. But we decorate it. We put paper on the back so that you can write. And then just little bits and pieces to make it look decorative. And then I just stuck it in there with a little index clip that you can slide on or off the page. It's not permanently attached. There's some ledger. This is another pocket. This one I gave you a sunflower bookmark and a handmade tag. And on this side I have a hand sewn page edge and a little bit of that rice paper from earlier. Another beautiful verse. And then this is new paper made to look old, the same as this page. New paper made to look old. This is a removable paper clip, and it's easier just to slide the whole thing off and then take this off. And then you can go inside this vellum envelope, and I've stuck a couple little things in here that you might enjoy. One is this tag, and it's printed on both sides. And then this one is a recipe for peanut butter cookies. It's a new printable, but it's copied from an original antique item. Well, maybe it's not antique. It gave an oven recipe, so I don't know. But it's old. I can tell you that. It's modeled after something very old. And then this one you slide right back on like you do the others. And maybe this one will go on easier than the first one did. It's thinking about it. Let's try it this way. Okay, there, we got it on that. There we go. Now it's on. This is an embossed page. This is actually, yeah, this is the embossed side. The debossed side, I have some layering tape, washi tape, and it's these thin strips of washi, but when you put them together, they make a big picture. And I thought it was beautiful. And I've got a little bit of stickles on there to give it some dimension. More lace trim, or not lace trim, ribbon trim, and this is probably from the last 15 years. It's not vintage yet. I adore this page. It's so beautiful. And when you turn it over, there's a pocket on the other side. And it has another one of the handmade tags. And just a little sheet of paper that I like to include. And a sheet of vintage note paper. It was in like a day planner that people used to carry. Well, I guess people still carry day planners, but they probably don't carry that type anymore. This is from an old magazine, and I wanted to include some old poems for you. This one's about friendship, and that is the complete poem. I made sure that I didn't cover up anything. And then this is the center signature, and it's a story from an Ideals, a magazine from the 1970s. And then this is another poem called Friendly Letter. This page is antique paper. It came from a book. I'm trying to remember. This was the other side of it. But it had international atomic weights, and I didn't figure that that was probably exactly what you wanted in your journal. So I covered it with something beautiful. And the same on this side. But I left this antique notebook paper alone with the tab so that you could use it as you wanted to. But it is well over 100 years old. Then we got some writing paper with more of the floral trim. This one is a notepad. And I know it may not look like a notepad, but it is. You can write yourself notes on these little sheets. You can pull them out. They are sewn. No, they are not sewn. They are taped. But if you use like a sharp edge or you just use your finger, you can rip those pages off. But they all have beautiful images, or they're vintage, something special about each page. And I wanted to give you a little bit of each one. And this one is actually from an old McCall's notebook journal that was from, I believe it was the 60s. And it's just so fun that it's got that image on there. And then you flip it over and you've got your other half of your embossed page with the butterflies. This is a printable that's made to look old. This one is a vellum printable put on top of another printable so that you've got layers of details there. This is a handmade artist trading card. They're called ATCs. And they are a standard size, but people in the crafting community make these, and then they trade them with each other. And they label the back with what they want to title it, who made it, when they made it, and if it was part of a series, what number it is of the series. This one's just a little sheet of paper I like to include. And another one of the little tags from a printable collection I have. This one, I didn't want to completely attach this to the page in case you wanted to write on that. So what I did is I took this little tiny mini clip and I clipped it to the page. And you can see how it was constructed with a piece of paper from an old math book was the base of it. And then you just add pretty things. But if you want to move it around, you can. If you want to glue it to this page, you can. I will tell you that when you're writing, that may cause some issues, so you might want to remove it while you're writing in your book because of the dimension of it. There's more of that pattern that you can see on the printed coffee-dyed paper, not printed. I try to put this in all my albums as just like a final thank you, and I prayed for you while I was making this journal, kind of a remembrance thing. But yeah, I hope that you know that this journal was made with love, not only from your grandmother, but from the woman who created it as a sister in Christ. This is a dangle, and it's got two little tags, and I fixed it so that when you pull them apart a little bit, you can see that these go together to form a single image. So I just thought that was a little fun detail to have as your dangle for the very end of the book. Here's the lyrics from another part, or from part of another song that you said you loved. And I wanted to include that as well. These are 3x4 photo mats, and the way that I attached these, it is not a permanent adhesion. These are only temporary, so that you could put a picture here if you wanted to. And then you've got space to label the pictures. I would suggest after you get your pictures in here that you permanently glue this one down, because otherwise it's going to pop off the page. This is some more lace. This is not vintage. This is new material. And more stenciling. And this is your last page. So McKenna, I hope that you love this journal. I hope that it will stay with you for years and years to come and bring you wonderful memories of your grandmother. I pray that you have a blessed holiday and that you have a wonderful year and years to come. Bye.